What's up, YouTube? Recently, Mother bought some new furniture for our upstairs. She asked me if I would make some table toppers for the coffee table and the two end tables. So today, I'm going to show you how I make 6-point star table toppers. You can make these table toppers in any size you want. And the first thing you want to do is go ahead and measure out your table. These coffee tables and end tables just happen to have these two rings around them. So what I'm going to do is measure from the outside ring all the way across to the opposite side. This one just happens to be 29 inches wide. So I'll meet you down in my sewing room and I'll show you how to make a template to make this 29-inch wide table topper. Alright guys, so the things that you're going to need to make this 6-point star table topper are a piece of backing fabric that'll fit the size of star that you want, a piece of batting that will also fit the size of star you want, and today I'm going to use flannel here because I just think it lays flatter. You're going to need 3 coordinating prints of fabric. Today I'm just going to use this Christmas fabric here because I have a lot extra, but you could use any fabric that you want. Now to make the template, you're going to need a scrap piece of cardboard, and I'm using a thicker corrugated cardboard right here. You're going to need a large piece of paper. Now depending on the size of your table topper, you might not need a piece this large, but for my 29-inch table topper, you're going to need a pretty big piece of paper. If you don't have freezer paper, just go ahead and tape together 4 pieces of printer paper. And you're also going to need a ruler with a 30-degree angle mark on it. Now finally, you're going to need your sewing machine and coordinating thread. And I went ahead and changed the foot on my sewing machine to a walking foot. Let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and make a template. That way we can make these anytime we want. So now you just want to take the measurement of how wide you want your finished table topper to be. In my case it was 29 inches, and cut that in half. For me, it'll be 14 and a half. So I'm just going to lay my ruler here and draw a 14 and a half inch line. Next, we want to cut that measurement in half. So in my case here, it'll be 7 1/4. And you just want to put a little mark at the halfway point. Now we're going to turn our ruler around. Make sure our line is straight on our ruler and we're matched up with our mark we just made. And draw another line horizontally. Now's when your 30-degree mark on your ruler comes into play. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up the 30-degree angle mark with the top point of my vertical line, and I'm going to draw a line until I intersect the horizontal line. So now that we have this one side down, you want to turn your ruler. My ruler has a 30-degree angle mark here and a 30-degree angle mark here. So now you just want to line up the same line with your other 30-degree mark. And draw a line. Just like that. Now flip your paper around. And repeat. And now you should have this diamond pattern, and that will be 1/6 of our 6-point star table topper. Now you just want to go back and add your seam allowance. I want a 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm just going to line up these lines with the 1/4 inch mark on my ruler and draw a line. And you want to do that on all 4 sides. And now you should have something that looks like this with our 1/4 inch seam allowance. And the next thing you want to do is go ahead and glue this down to your cardboard. I like to use this Allowance tacky spray and cut it out. And now you have a reasonable template to make these 6-point star table toppers anytime you want. And I went ahead and put the name of the table topper, 1/4 inch seam allowance, that I need to cut 6 pieces, and the finished size is 29 inches. Now the next thing that you're going to do is you want to take your 3 different prints of fabric, and we're going to cut 2 diamonds out of each fabric, giving us a total of 6 pieces of fabric. Now you just want to lay out your table topper. I like to start with my white pieces in my case. And I'm going to lay them point to point. Next, grab another diamond. And I'm going to lay it here on the right side. So grab your other diamond of the same color, and I'm going to lay it on the left side. Now take your final pieces and just fill in the gaps. Just like that. So now we just want to sew this together. I'm going to take this red fabric here. I'm going to lay it over the white fabric, matching up this corner and the point. And with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, I'm just going to go ahead and sew right down this seam. So I have my first piece sewed on here, and I like to go ahead and press my seams away from the center diamond. Now you just want to take your third piece here, put it right sides together, matching up your point and your corner, and with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew it on. And now we have half of our table topper sewed together. And like I said, I like to press my seams away from the center diamond. And now you just want to do the same thing to your other 3 diamonds. And I went ahead and did it just to save some time here. And our next step is we're going to join these 2 halves together. So all you want to do is I like to line up this point here and make sure it lines up nicely with the point down here. You can kind of feel where the 2 points come together and put a pin. Now you just want to match up this as best as possible. Right here you can see that it doesn't exactly match up perfect, but that's okay because when we sew our batting and our backing together, it'll hide all of that. You really just want to make sure that this point lines up perfect. Now just take this over to your sewing machine, and with that same 1/4 inch seam allowance, sew these 2 together. And now the top of our table topper is complete, and you just want to set this off to the side for just 1 minute. Then you just want to grab your batting piece, and you want to smooth it out as best you can, getting rid of any wrinkles or creases. Next, take your backing piece, and you want to lay it pretty sides up. Now with this solid color, it's kind of hard to tell which is the pretty side, so just do the best you can. And you want to smooth that out. Now I also like to flip it over and give the batting another smooth. Now you just want to grab the top of our table topper, and we're going to lay that so the pretty side is facing down. And make sure that's nice and smooth. Now you just want to take some pins, and I like to pin at every notch here and every point. And now that you have it all pinned, you want to go to one of your flat sides here, and you want to leave a 3 to 4 inch opening. So I just like to put a couple pins right there. That way I know where to start and stop. And you want to make sure that you backstitch at the beginning and the end. And I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around until I get to the end pin. Alright guys, so I sewed around my table topper, and you can kind of see it better here on the back. And then I left my 4 to 5 inch opening right here. So our next step, with your sharp fabric scissors, we're just going to trim away all this extra fabric right along the edge of the top of our table topper. Alright guys, and now that we've done that, we're going to go and we're going to clip the points of our star here. And we want to come right up to our seam line here, but don't clip through it. Leave probably a 1/16 of an inch of fabric there. Just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take off some of this bulk fabric here on the point. So what I do is just go ahead and trim it off just like that on both sides. Now you want to do that to all of your points. And right here on the notches, I like to go ahead and also make a triangular cut. Just like that. And make sure that you do not go through your threads. Actually right here, I just clipped through my thread. But it's no big deal because you just want to take that back to your sewing machine. Start a little ways away from where your notch was. Backstitch. And go ahead and just sew over that seam one more time, backstitching at the beginning and the end. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's all clipped. Alright guys, so I have my points all clipped and the inside corners all notched. Now the next thing we're going to do is turn this right side out. So you just want to open it up here. And I just like to go to the opposite point and pull it all through. Now you just want to push out all the points as best you can right now. And then using a bone folder, you could carefully use the point of your scissors. I'm going to go back in here and push out all the points so they're like nice and sharp. Now you want to be really careful while you're pushing out the points. Because we trim these down, there's not a whole lot of fabric here, so it'd be very easy just to poke right through. And now you just want to take this over to your ironing board and give it a good press, making sure that your opening here is tucked in. And I like to iron it from the front, turn around, and also iron the back. Alright guys, now I have this nice and flat as best I could. Now you just want to find your opening, mine's right here, and stick a couple pins just to make sure that it stays closed when we're top stitching here. Now our final step is we're going to take this back over to our sewing machine, and with an 1/8 inch seam allowance, we're going to go ahead and top stitch all the way around these points, making sure to back stitch at the beginning and the end. And this is where your walking foot comes in really handy. These points can be kind of difficult when using just a regular foot, but your walking foot will grab that fabric and pull it right through. Now I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished. And now our 6-point star table topper is complete. These are really fast and really easy to whip up. And I also went ahead and made some smaller ones for the end tables. I hope you give this video a try. If you like this video and want to see more of my videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and give it a big thumbs up. Feel free to share this video across your social media. If you have any questions about this video or any of my other videos, or would just like to leave a suggestion for an upcoming video, leave me a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. See you next time.